On this episode of iRacing Breakdowns, we take on the NASCAR Iracing B-Fixed Series as they go to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The 1.5 mile Atlanta Motor Speedway is a very popular track on the iRacing service. Famously known for extreme tire wear, this track is a fan favorite. It has only been a little over 3 months since the last time this B-Fixed Series saw this track. With the setups being extremely tight this week, it is going to be very easy to overuse the right front tire. The bottom will be the preferred groove from the start of the run, but do not be surprised if the top comes in towards the last 10 laps of the race. With all that covered, let's jump right into our qualifying laps. So something I said at the start, and you probably noticed, is just how tight it is coming off the corners. You probably saw how much wheel I had to give it coming off of turn 4 in that second lap, and that's just the case with the setup. There's no real fixing that. So here we come to our first of 2 laps, and I'm just going to use this lap to get some heat into the tires. You can run quick laps on lap 1 and 2, but lap 2 has a potential to be almost half a tenth quicker. So here we go, going into the corner. As we go through the tri-oval, the first thing we're going to do is aim for the cup sign going into 1 and 2. We're going to start to lift. We're going to stay about 75% throttle until we get to the Atlanta sign, and then we're going to get completely out of it. We're going to trail brake just a little bit, and we're going to get back in it, start to get back in it at the Coca-Cola sign. You're going to notice here I pulsate the gas. I go from full, a little down, back to full. I'm just trying to get heat into the rear tires. As we come off the corner, we're going to aim right where the safer barrier starts to go out towards the wall. That's where we want to come flush with it. And as we go into 3 and 4, you're going to notice how early I lift. This is me just trying to get a good run to the start line. If you're going for lap 2, you want to have a lot of speed coming across the start-finish line. So I start lifting at the safer barrier. You'll notice next lap how deep we take it in. So I start lifting there. I'm completely out, I would say, about 2 car lengths past the cup sign. And we're going to let it roll for a little bit, and then we get fully back in it. So here we come to our quick lap. Same thing through 1 and 2. You want to hook the line. And what we're doing is aiming for the cup sign to come out flush with the wall. We're going to do that there. So here we come to our quick lap. 1 and 2 is going to be mostly the same thing. 3 and 4 is going to be a lot different. You're going to notice we come flush with the cup sign. We start lifting to about half throttle, and we're going to get completely out at the Atlanta sign. Trail brake just a tad, and start getting back in it at the Coca-Cola sign. Notice I didn't get full gas there. That was about 75% throttle till about the Old Spice sign, then we got back in it. And we're hooking the line as best we can. Careful not to hook it too much or come down too early. What that will do is you'll hit the bump here, and it will send you out, and you'll smack the wall and exit at 2. So we get back in it, full gas, again aiming for where the safer barrier completely goes out. We're flush with the wall there. 3 and 4, you're just going to notice how deep in I want to drive it. I start lifting at the safer barrier, but we're not completely out. We're about 75% throttle all the way until I would say 3 car lengths past this cup sign here. And we're going to drive it straight to the line. And we get back in it very quickly. Notice, I'll play it in full motion. Notice how quickly we're back in it. We let it roll and we get completely back in it right at the Atlanta 3. And we're going to go full throttle. And again, notice how much wheel I have to give it and how tight it is. As we come off this corner, I'm cranking the thing and just hoping it doesn't want to hit the outside wall. I definitely think there's about half a tenth more in it if you couldn't get this car tight. I could not replicate it. Every time I backed the corner up, it was just slower. So as we come off the corner, we're aiming for this cup side. Notice how close we're going to come to the wall. If we go to far chase here, you'll just see how close I came to smacking it. I was right on it. And that's going to be a Q lap here around Atlanta. For all of these qualifying times, I use March 14th at 14:48 with a 43% track, which is moderate track usage. This is the best I could do to duplicate the conditions that iRacing has on their schedule, but with dynamic weather, these times could change. With that said, my best lap was a 30.890. A good lap this week is going to be somewhere around a low 30.9. A great lap being a mid to high 30.8, and I could see some of the really fast guys hitting low 30.8s to high 30.7s. With all of that covered, let's jump into the race run. So as we're coming to the start here, one thing that this track is known for is wheel spin. There's definitely a little bit on the bottom lane. It's worse on the outside lane. So something I would practice is restarting on both lanes, especially if you have worn tires. It's going to be a lot worse. So as we come into turn 1 here, just remember the tires are not up to temp yet. So it's going to be extremely tight on exit. So we drive it to the line here. You're going to notice we're lifting. We're not even full throttle to almost off the corner. And again, that's just because there's no heat in the tires. 3 and 4, again, the tires are not up to temp, so be ready for that. Again, we're going to start lifting a little earlier, probably right at the start of the safer barrier there, just like our first Q lap. Completely off, kind of just a little past the cup sign. Just don't overdrive on the first few laps as it is tight. You're going to notice we get back in it. We're not full gas till almost the billboards. Again, that's just because there's no heat in the tires. So we come off the corner, again, aiming for the cup sign, and that's going to be lap 1 of the race run. Moving ahead to lap 5, we've already fallen off about 2/10 of our quick lap. Tires go very quickly here. You're going to see the different line that we're running in the race, and this is in order to save our right front. Notice we're about half throttle. We're still off at the Atlanta sign. We're still braking a little bit. We're going to get back on the gas at the Coca-Cola sign just like before, but notice how little we're back in it. We're barely back on it. We're not full throttle till past the Old Spice sign now. We're almost to this sign right here, the white one. We're back in it again, trying to come out flush with the wall where the safer barrier ends. We're flush with it. So we come into 3 and 4. We're going to lift earlier as well. We're lifting a little before the safer barrier now, and we're going to get completely off right before the cup sign. I almost use this building as my reference point. We're going to just let it roll for a while, and we're going to ease back in the throttle. Notice we get back full, I would say about 3 to 4 car lengths before this Lowe's sign. Coming off the corner, again, aiming for the cup sign. Don't try to keep it too close to this line, as that's going to burn your front tire off the car. We're going to come back out, and that's going to be lap 5 of the run. Moving ahead to lap 15, we've fallen off over a second at this point. That's just how quick the tires go here. Coming into turn 1, you're going to see we're still lifting a little later. That's just because we're not carrying as much speed into the corner anymore. So we start to lift, and notice we get completely out of it. So we're lifting a little later, but we're completely out of it a lot earlier. So I'd say probably 3 to 4 car lengths before this cup sign here, we're completely out of it. And we're going to let it roll now. We're on the brake just a little bit. Notice how long we let it roll. Still getting back in about at the Coca-Cola sign. And we're going to ease back in the throttle. The reason we're easing back in and letting it roll so long is the car is extremely tight. So if you get back in it too early, it's going to want to smack the wall. Here coming on exit of the corner. Again, coming out, we're trying to come out flush with the safer barrier as it comes into the wall. Going into 3 and 4, you're going to see we're going to lift early again. We start to lift well before the safer barrier there, probably 2, 3, 4 car lengths. And we're completely out at the building. That's how far back we've rolled it already. And again, we're going to let it roll for a long time here till we can hook this line. We get back in it, I would say, right at the end of the Atlanta 3 sign. So as we start to get back in it, again, we're nice and easy on the throttle. Notice how long that pickup point was. We're doing that, again, to keep it from smacking the wall and exit. I'm going to keep saying that. It's a common theme coming out towards the cup sign, but this car is extremely tight here. And that's lap 15 of the run. As we move all the way up to lap 25, now we're almost a second and a half slower than the start of the run. You're going to see just how early we start lifting for these corners now. Just notice I was giving it, I would say, about 97% throttle as I came out of the second kink through that tri-oval. We're starting to lift, again, completely out of it even earlier now. I'd say about a car length past this cup sign. We're going to drag the brake just a little bit. Notice how long we let it roll. Very long time we're letting it roll. We start to get back in it, I would say, right at the Bosch sign there. And again, ease it on the throttle until we know we're not going to hit the wall. We go full. Come out again, flush with the retaining wall. Right at the end of the safer barrier. So go into 3 and 4, again, lifting a lot earlier. Almost 4 to 5 car lengths before the start of the safer barrier. And notice we're about 75% throttle. And we're completely out of it before the building there. And again, let it roll for a very long time. A little bit of brake, and we ease back on the throttle. Notice when I got back on it how it wanted to push up the track. If it's doing that, you want to wait longer on the throttle there. That's what I should have been doing. And I start to ease back on the throttle. We get back in it. Now we're almost back in it at the start of the billboards there. About 3 to 4 car lengths before there. Again, coming out and exit. Watch the wall. If you think you're going to hit it, back up your throttle point. Aiming for the cup sign as we come off the corner. And that's going to be lap 25 of the run. As we go to lap 35, we've only fallen off 2/10 from lap 25. So the tires definitely plateau right around this point. So we come here, we're going to be lifting in right about the same spot we were last time. Still lifting right about at the NASCAR sign, dragging the brake, getting in at about the Bosch sign. Again, nice and easy on the throttle, coming out, same spot as before. Again, it plateaus from 25 to about 40, so we're doing the same thing as we were before. Still lifting before the building, still dragging the brake, easing back in the throttle. Same points as before. Coming off the corner towards the cup sign, and that's going to be lap 35 of the run. Skipping ahead to lap 40, this is where you're going to really notice a difference here. As we go into 1 and 2, just notice how long I'm off the gas, still lifting the same spot, still trail braking just a hair, and notice when we get back on the gas, we got to play with it, because that's just how tight this car gets. We're going to look back here. I was half throttle past the Old Spice sign, almost to the exit of the billboards, right at the Nationwide sign. We finally got back in it a little before the Nationwide sign. That's just how tight the car is. You're going to notice we come off. Still same spot coming off the corner. That's not going to change the whole run. Into 3 and 4, again, lifting a lot earlier now. We're still probably about, I would say, 7 car lengths before the safer barrier before we start lifting. And we're completely out of it. We're out of it almost 2 car lengths before that building now. Again, dragging the brake. We're going to get back in it. Something I see, a common mistake from a lot of people, is getting in it too early coming off of turn 3 and 4. It gives you that false sense that it's going to hook, especially with this setup, and it's not. You have to be nice and easy with that gas. See there how I got on it too much, and it just started tracking up the hill, and I had to get completely out of it. I would wait probably till the start of the billboards to really start getting back on it. And that was a mistake I made here. As you can see, it's very easy to do. So we come off the corner. We're going to come to 5 to go, and that's the completion of lap 40 of this run. And finally, here we come on our last lap of the run, lap 45. You're going to just see how early we lift here. We're completely out of it right at the cup sign. As we drag the brake, we're going to, again, try to hook this line. Notice how long we let it roll and how much we're just easing back on the gas as we come off the corner. We're not full gas till almost the Nationwide sign here. And I got on it a little too early. You see how I had to pulsate the gas. That's not what you want to do. You want to have nice and smooth inputs. So we come down the back straightaway, still coming out the wall in the same spot. Notice how early we have to lift. And this is all for exit. It's fine coming in, but when you're coming off the corner, the thing's going to plow like a dump truck if you drive it in too deep. So we start lifting, I would say, right at the start of the safer barrier, and we're completely out of it, I would say 2 to 3 car lengths before the building there. As we go into the corner, notice how long we're letting it roll. We ease back in the throttle. I would say don't get in, especially this late in a run, probably 3 to 4 car lengths for the Lowe's billboard there. As we come out of the corner, again, aiming for the NASCAR Cup Series sign, and that's going to be a race run around Atlanta. Throughout my practice, I saw 3 major things that are going to be important for this week. One is save the right front tire, but not too much. With the races only being 45 laps, the tires will only come in the last 10 to 15 laps. If there is at least one caution, I do not think you will see the full effects of tire saving. I suggest that you save tires, but do not go out of your way to go really slow at the start of the run because it will not pay off in the end. Second is be patient getting back on the gas. It is very easy to overdrive the exit of turn 2 and 4. You will have a lot of people overdriving exit, and if you are patient getting back on the gas, you will find a lot of passing opportunities through there. And third, as always, is practice. Not only qualifying in race runs, but also practice being side by side with people entering and exiting the corner. I, for one, am very happy to see the Xfinity cars take on this Atlanta Motor Speedway, and I sure hope you are as well. That's gonna do it for this episode. Give this video a like if it helped you, a dislike if it didn't, and comment below if you have any questions. Also check the description for timestamps, my steering settings, and my tire wear for my run. This has been another episode of Iracing Breakdowns.